Even though I have actually posted a 25-minute long video going over tips and tricks, ways to get the most out of your OnePlus Open, there were unfortunately several things that I missed, and in fact one thing that maybe not in that video, but definitely in another video, actually just got flat out wrong. So in this video, I'm going to add I think it's 5 more things, 5 more tips that I missed, and these are kind of big ones about the OnePlus Open. So the first thing we need to talk about here is Tint Mode. I mistakenly thought Tint Mode just wasn't a thing on this device, and I'll show you why I thought that. Let's say I'm watching a video. Let's turn down my volume here. We'll just put on this clip talking about future Tennessee Titans superstar Will Levis and his great performance. If we wanted to go into Tint Mode, what you're going to do is you're going to open this thing up a little bit, and as you can see, that screen is turned on. So I thought, well, Tint Mode is out the window. Tint Mode, of course, being setting this thing up like this to then watch the content on the cover display. Maybe you just saw something. What I didn't try was actually putting it down. Why would I think to do that? When you put it down, though, it recognizes that it's been put down. And now, as you can see here, we are running Tint Mode quite happily. So Tint Mode does, in fact, function. You just have to actually put it down. If I pick it back up, it will go back to this screen. It's just detecting that I have set it down, and that's what it's doing. I totally missed that. That's on me, but I'm trying my best to correct that now. And actually, I had several people in my comments tell me about this. So if you are one of those people, thanks for letting me know. Another thing is something I've actually already changed. Let me jump into my settings real quick, and I'll show you sort of the before and after. All right, so I've reverted things now. This is how the OnePlus Open typically looks in regard to the animations. Maybe I'm crazy. These animations look super smooth, but to me, they also look extremely slow, like weirdly slow. So what you can do about this is you can jump into your settings, go down to About Device, click on Version, tap Build Number a bunch of times until you have Developer Options. Go to Additional Settings, scroll down to Developer Options, and then we're going to scroll down and look for the animation rendering speed, window animation scale, and there's several options. Animation scale, transition animation scale, and animator duration scale. Set all of these to 0.5. You could turn them off if you wanted to do that, but for me, I like the animations. This just makes them so much faster, literally twice as fast. I typically don't do this thing anymore. This is an old trick many of us have used for years, and like I said, haven't really been doing it. But on this OnePlus device, those animations felt so slow that I think changing that actually makes a lot of sense. It makes the device feel as fast as it actually is. So this next one is something else that actually was, again, told to me by some commenters. So again, thanks for that. Floating windows on this device are kind of strange. There are so many ways you can launch a floating window. You can have the little sidebar you can turn on in the settings and drag an app in, and that launches it. You can also swipe up and hold and then go into an application and then tap and do a floating window. You can also, if we maximize this, swipe up and hold and launch it as a floating window that way. But something that I didn't think was actually functioning, it turns out is. Let's just launch the Play Store and have something running. In my experience, this is how I typically want to launch a floating app. There's already an app open. I'm going to grab another app from my taskbar and drag it up. When I had tested this, I guess I just, by bad luck, grabbed an application that did not support being a floating window, so I thought this didn't work, but it does. If you grab an app and drag it up, you're going to see this, and you think, well, how do I do a floating window? With Samsung, there's a certain spot where you can drag it to. I think it's up at the top, maybe. But there's nothing like that here. You have to drag it to the middle and then hold it there for a second. If you don't do that, it isn't going to tell you. Let go, now you have a floating window. So there is another way to do this. Another way to do this that I don't know that the system tells you anywhere either is to do a 5-finger pinch in, and now once again you have that floating window. And one more way, if we do the 2-finger swipe down and we grab another app, in this case we're going to do Wise, if we grab that handle and we drag it down, release to create that floating window. Now once you have it, you can actually drag it to the edge and pin it back, or you should also be able to hide it if you drag it all the way over. As you saw here, there's a difference between doing that, which will simply put it back as the other side or dragging it off the screen to hide it away. If we go ahead and swipe down and we grab another application again so that we have two open, there's something else I need to show you. If you long press here, or I guess you just tap it, and you do the save as an app group, what this does is it should put a shortcut on the screen somewhere for this app group. But as you can see, that did not work for me. And the reason is because there is currently a bug. If you go into your launcher settings, you're looking for this home screen mode, and you need to turn on add apps to home screen. I don't like this because what it does is whenever you install an app from the Play Store, it's going to put an icon on your desktop, which I don't like. But as you can see now that I've turned that back on, all those icons have popped up, and there is my app pair that I just created. This is a bug I hope that they fix. If you want to get rid of these quickly, you can long press and then tick all of their boxes and then remove them, which is extremely useful, much quicker than doing it the old way. And one more thing that I got a couple of questions asking about was portrait video. This is the kind of video that when you film it, it uses AI to basically do portrait mode on the video. So you get that nice artificial blur. Here's how you do it. If you go into video, there's an icon right down there that looks like a shutter basically. And if you click on that, that's going to take you into that portrait video mode. You can actually change the depth of field all the way from f1.4 up to an f16, which is going to have basically no blur at all. Now this does cap you at 1080p 30 FPS, which is not the best. If I go to 4K, it's going to actually take me out of that mode. As you can see there, as soon as I go back in, we're back down to 1080p. But if you're looking for the portrait blur video mode, that's where you're going to find it. And if you're wondering how that effect worked, how good this looks, this is pretty much what you should be expecting. It looks okay. It is 1080p, so that's not necessarily the best. So there you go, guys. Hopefully that answers a handful more questions about the OnePlus Open. Personally, the floating window stuff was a really big deal to me. I was frustrated that some of the stuff I didn't think was there actually is there. Tint Mode was another thing like that. And I was like, man, how do they not have Tint Mode? Well, they do have Tint Mode. It's just Tint Mode that only turns itself on if you actually put it down onto a table. So again, thanks to the commenters that let me know about these things. I do appreciate it greatly. And if you appreciate content like this, maybe subscribe before you go, guys. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.